All right, let's get into this video. These are some of the top things I really have come to enjoy after 5 years of living here in Macau. Now, they're in no particular order, no order of importance. It's just sort of the ones that I've got listed. So, number one, I'm gonna say is the fact that Macau is a very walkable city. So, just like as you can see, there's shops and things happening all around. You can really, I've only lived in the west coast of the US. I'm from Las Vegas, as some of you may know. So you needed a car to get anywhere. Grocery store, work, school, everything required a car. Public transportation is really a big letdown, yeah, specifically in Las Vegas. So that's one thing I want to say. These are all from my own perspective. I know that public transportation in other parts of Asia like Hong Kong, Shanghai, you know, Japan, they're all really impressive. But coming from Vegas, where public transportation is not the case, it's just different. So as I was saying, yeah, it's a walkable city. You can go downstairs from your building and you can be in a restaurant, or you could be in a bakery, or you could be downstairs at a bar. And that's sort of a unique experience for me. I never really experienced that, which I've really come to enjoy, not having to have a car. And so that sort of leads me into the other point, which I've already talked about a little bit, which is transportation, public transportation specifically. Public transportation, I think, in Macau overall is really good. Now, I got a comment about this before about how it's not that great for Asia, and look, that might be true, but you got to remember that Macau basically has exploded economically in a matter of a little bit over 10 years. Okay, so you know, they're building a light rail system, which is like a monorail, and they're doing other things. So, you know, slowly but surely they will get to where they need to get to. But overall, for me, I think it's fantastic. I've never had any issue getting any place in Macau on the bus, and I pretty much rode the bus for the first 3 years that I was here in Macau, and now for the most part Elise does drive, so naturally I drive around with Elise. The other thing that I wanted to mention was just exactly how safe Macau is. Now, it's not like, so coming from Las Vegas and in the US, you know that there's always some places that in the city that you just don't want to be at after a certain hour, and that's just not the case here in Macau. There's never been a single place in Macau at any hour of the night where I have felt any sort of concern about maybe I shouldn't be here, maybe let's get to a place that's a little bit more well lit, or let's this is not a good part of the city. That is just not the case. I can't even, like, it's gotten to the point where I've been here for 5 years that I believe that my guard isn't as up as it used to be when I was back in the US, which concerns me in case I were ever to move back, that I just wouldn't be as, you know, as looking around and watching my surroundings as I should be. So that's another thing that has been just, I just have not expected that to be so incredibly safe. I think that's primarily to do with the fact that well, first off, nobody owns guns here in Macau. From what I have been told about guns, you can own a gun, but it's my understanding, now if you're from Macau and you're watching this, feel free to correct me in the comments, but if you own a gun, it has to stay locked up at the police station or something similar to that, is what I heard, because I had a friend who was he was in one of those clubs, like the marksman's clubs, where they go and practice gun shooting. So there's no guns, so I mean, there's zero gun violence happening here. I know that can be a touchy subject, but it is what it is. And also there is a massive amount of public cameras, which at first leaves you a little bit, you know, concerned about how many cameras there are, but if you think about it, it makes the public areas incredibly safe. Okay, so that's one thing that I think has really helped with the feeling of Macau being so safe. One of the other things, you know, a couple other things that I think are really awesome about Macau is that, now again, unlike Las Vegas, where you don't really get a chance to meet too many people from too many different places. I mean, in Vegas you're gonna get your Californias, your Arizonas, but you don't get a lot of foreigners from like Australia or Europe or things like that. Now here I've got a chance to interact. Well, I worked with a lot of them, but even outside of work I get a chance to interact with a lot of people from Australia, New Zealand, a lot of people from Europe, obviously people from the US. And the great thing about Macau is that most people that come to Macau are fairly open-minded. It's very difficult, I believe, that if you're a closed-minded person, that you're gonna come here and you're gonna stay very long, because you know, if you don't have that sort of openness, what the hell? Well, if you don't have that sort of, if you don't have an open mind, Macau is going to be a very difficult place to be here for very long. So a lot of these people are very open-minded. They're from different places, they have different experiences. It's really cool to sit down and talk to them. And because the expat community here is so small, it's really easy to talk to people. I don't know why it is so easy. You meet one person, they introduce you to, you know, 2 other people, they introduce you to other people, and it's just a great place to sort of interact with other people, especially if you go to some of the bars like I do on the weekends. You really get a chance to mix with a lot of different people from a lot of different places. And oh, the other thing that I really like about Macau, and as you probably have seen as I'm walking around and in my other videos, is that it has a really unique history. So obviously the Portuguese came to Macau 500 years ago. They you know, I wouldn't say they left. Obviously there's still a lot of Portuguese people here, but they have their architecture, they have the food. It's, you know, it's here, you can experience it. It's like a mixture of cultures. It's very, to me it's very interesting, between the architecture and the food and the history, and how long they've been here. I find it very fascinating, and it goes really well with my street photography, so I really enjoy that. The other thing that I really enjoyed about Macau is the fact that it made me a lot more open-minded, especially coming from Vegas. And having a very small circle in Vegas, I wasn't as open-minded to things like food is a big example. I wasn't as open-minded about food. I didn't, you know, if it looked weird, I kind of shied away from it. But here I've sort of adopted a let's try anything once sort of mentality. So yeah, I sort of have opened my mind about that sort of thing. I guess one of the final things that I really liked about Macau, or one of the reasons that I really enjoyed being here, and I have to say this is before COVID, is that Macau is like, from a travel perspective, it's 4 hours away from like a dozen plus countries. I mean, you have anything from Japan down to Singapore, and so like anything that's in that circle, that sort of 4-hour flight circle, is very accessible. You know, we can be in Okinawa in 2.5 hours, you know, and have a completely different experience. Or you can be in Vietnam in an hour, under 2 hours. You can be in Cambodia, and it's just different cultures, different food, different people. It's just that I think that's the most amazing thing about actually being here in Macau, is just having the access to all those different countries, cultures, food. That's just been unbelievable. That's got to be I don't want to say top thing, but I really enjoy that I have access to all these different countries. So I guess just to wrap things up and not make this video too long, those are some of the things that I really enjoyed about Macau. In case anybody's, you know, thinking about moving to Macau, if you're watching this video, I know a lot, you know, people from different places watch this video. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye bye.